G'day, my name's Brendan Stemp and welcome to my workshop in Mackenzie Creek. For a number of years now I've been using epoxy resin with my wood turning and I'm absolutely loving it. It's enabled me to do a lot of interesting things. What I've enjoyed most is not only what I've been doing but the possibilities that it's opened up for me, and I'm really excited about the whole process. Now, I wanted to talk to you further about using epoxy resin, and to this end we've invited Peter Byrne from Solid Solutions along to talk a bit further about it. Now, Peter is my supplier of epoxy resin. His company Solid Solutions imports a number of resin products and he's the expert, so he's come along to help us just get to the bottom of some of this resin and make sure that you out there, when you do use it, have success with it like I am now. Now, first of all, Peter, welcome along, number one.
It's good to be here. Yeah.
And we're surrounded by the work that I've been doing. But I'd first like to open up by saying or asking you, why would I use epoxy resin over the other types of resin, which are, from my understanding, polyurethane and polyester?
Well, okay, some of the evidence is on the table. I mean, you've got a very good hard finish here, much harder than you'll get with a polyester, and there's no odour either. Once this stuff cross-links, that's it. Whereas a polyester has a life of just leaching out styrene monomer, which we're finding today is a real no-no for your lungs. So an epoxy is a very inert material, so that's one of the main things. The other thing is the bonding power. There's no shrinkage. You won't have an issue where these inlays, etc., will shrink and pull back and pop out and so forth. So you've picked the right material and it's fully waterproof, unlike polyesters.
Now, often I am pouring the epoxy resin over a long period of time.
Right.
Now, polyurethane. It hasn't got that long working time.
Oh, you're referring to like what we call pot life or working time. Yeah,
yes.
That's the time at which you can pour it, etc. Well, this particular product, I know you're using our 606 there, I see. It's designed to have a long working time.
Over polyurethane, what are your thoughts there?
Polyurethanes are really quite reactive materials. You get a very quick set, and polyesters as well, particularly if you put lots of catalyst in. But these epoxies will give you your best part of an hour's working time if you've got something in the order of up to about a litre. Depending on the temperature of the day too, all this work should be done at around 25 C or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I'd back that up because I've had the mix going for about 2 hours in some occasions. But your point about the temperature, the ambient temperature, is a very important one. Up here in the Wimmera, it gets bloody hot in summer, and I certainly wouldn't expect 2 hours working time on a 40-degree day, for instance. What about the safety issues, Peter? I mean, I've had people question whether, when it's set, whether it is actually safe. For instance, I've got it in pepper grinders here.
Yeah, okay, good question, that one. Well, again, back to where we've come to, we've moved up to epoxies from polyesters, and those materials in the past they have a long leaching life of giving out styrene monomer, but your epoxy does a full cross-link. You've got long chain molecules that join up, and there's no residual material, no free radicals, nothing to fly off, come out, so to speak. So it's fully cross-linked and a stable material once that's linkage has taken place.
Okay. Now,
that's why it's used for glues as well. It's got so many linkages, and so there's nothing else given off, so you're on the right material.
Now, my research, however, suggests that there are some issues that we need to concern ourselves when mixing the glue. So in a liquid state, there is some safety or some health issues that we need to concern ourselves with.
Yeah, good point. Look, it's normal good workshop practice to wear eye protection and gloves with any chemistry materials, paints for that matter as well, 2-pack paints. Now with this epoxy as well, you want to have a little bit of airflow. Like when you finish the job, you wouldn't want to have the table covered with resin materials and then be working adjacent to it. It's better to leave the work area, and even while you're working, have a fan maybe over there and a window open over here so that you've got a bit of airflow moving past. But the material has a very low odour level, and I wouldn't have any concerns of significance with that. No.
Now I wear gloves.
Yeah.
I'm quite emphatic about that. Wearing gloves is a very good issue. What sort of gloves does the epoxy react with certain materials?
There's no, as again saying, there's no solvents, nothing reactive in it that will dissolve a glove.
Right.
So you can wear latex or neoprene leather, cotton, doesn't matter. No, cotton is not a good one, sorry, because it absorbs, it gets through the cotton. So you want something that's non-absorbent. But it's all about keeping it off the skin, because we can get what's called a dermatitis skin itch. It's just a nuisance itch. So if you just have good workshop practice, you won't get that itch as a normal, you know.
Yes, now I have
Comment.
had that itch, and it didn't last a long time, but it did give me that warning, I suppose, to make sure I am careful to wear gloves all the time, which I do now. Now, I wanted to talk further about actually mixing it, because there are issues with mixing and getting what we call a bubble-free,
foundation thing, to getting it
bubble-free. So we might just pause for a bit and we'll get this table set up and ready to mix some epoxy resin.
Yep, let's get into it.